Stuck, with no hope of going home. These refugees in Turkey fled the Syrian regime. Now they must also worry about an emerging conflict between Al-Qaeda and other rebel groups. Their menfolk are FSA fighters. They don't think the ceasefire agreed today will make any difference in the end. The jihadis are a creation of the regime, says this FSA officer. And after we topple the regime, we will deal with them too. Slick propaganda from the main Al-Qaeda group in Syria. The Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, as the group is known, is a not very subtle message. We're on the march. Fill the car with explosives, he intones. Embrace death. Teach the infidels a lesson. It seems to be a camp for suicide bombers. The young men are enjoying a last swim before martyrdom, the man explains. The jihadis' black flag flew only briefly over the town of Azaz, but in truth the struggle there was as much over spoils as over ideology. Haji Mara, in the foreground, is the FSA commander for northern Syria. His brigade brokered the ceasefire with Al-Qaeda, yet he is also an Islamist. He isn't waging a global jihad like Al-Qaeda, he told me, but he is fighting for Sharia law in Syria.
No.
Yes, we're fighting for Sharia, he says, but a moderate Sharia that respects our religious minorities. He goes on to tell me, anyone against the regime is an ally, and Al-Qaeda is against the regime. Haji Mara's men in action in Aleppo today, fighting government troops. They welcome Al-Qaeda's help. Other FSA fighters say Al-Qaeda is the enemy too. Syria has become dauntingly complex. It's one more reason Western governments hesitate to intervene here. Turkey's border near the recent FSA Al-Qaeda clashes remained closed today, despite the ceasefire. Food and aid supplies were stuck. It's too early to tell whether the ceasefire in Azaz will hold. There have anyway been skirmishes in many parts of northern Syria between the jihadis and the Free Syrian Army. What does this mean for Syria's armed uprising?